Welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. Today we are working on DIY fall home decor using mostly supplies from Dollar Tree. First up is projects number 1 and 2. So I've got these two signs from Dollar Tree, this one with the acrylic front and the ceramic one. This acrylic piece on the front, I've already taken the screws off, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and use some rubbing alcohol and a cotton swab here and just kind of rub that off. Now the first time on my first sign I used nail polish remover. Don't recommend that. It left a great big hazy spot right in the middle. Alcohol works perfectly wonderful. So I've also got these wood beads from Dollar Tree. I put them on a skewer, and I'm going to use this Dixie Belle chalk paint in chocolate and paint all of these. I thought the wood beads on the skewer would be easier to hold to try and paint. Now on the ceramic piece, painting it, you're painting over really smooth. So I would suggest once it's painted that you seal it, okay? Otherwise that paint's just going to peel right off. So I've got all these painted plus my wood beads. And now I've got these two ornaments from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the Dixie Belle drop cloth paint to paint on this pumpkin ornament and this heart ornament I had left over from Valentine's Day. Now these are some papers I picked up, fall papers from Hobby Lobby, and I've got three colors actually of cardstock here from my own supply I'm going to be working with. And I'm just cutting the papers to fit first up the ceramic sign. I'm cutting them about an 1/8 inch short all the way around so you see a little bit of that sign underneath. I've got this nice kind of brownish orange tone cardstock and this great plaid right on top here, nice fall colors. I'll cut that again about an 1/8 of an inch shorter than the cardstock below it. And then I'm going to use kind of this golden greenish color cardstock. I'm going to trace my pumpkin all the way around. We're going to skip to the other sign here. Same thing on this one. I'm going to cut it about an 1/8 of an inch all the way around so it fits right in the center there. You can see my pumpkin, it's all cut out. I've got this corner rounder punch, and I'm going to go around each of these two bottom papers here on the sign so that matches the rounded corners of this ceramic sign. So I've got that all ready. Pumpkin, going to set that aside and go to this other one. Now what I'm doing is just pressing that paper down onto those screw holes so it makes an indent. And then I'm going to set that aside. And I forgot to tell you this on the pumpkin. I'm doing it just like I'm doing the heart here. I traced around it, and then I go in about an 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and I draw a new perimeter. All right, and then that's the area that I'm going to cut out. So that way it's a little bit about an 1/8 of an inch short on the wood piece, so you'll see a little bit of that heart shape just like this, and you saw the same way on the pumpkin. So you can see those indent holes I did earlier, so that just shows me where I need to use my hole punch to punch in on those indented spots, so that way it'll fit right back over those screw holes. I've sewed all my papers and everything off camera as I usually do, and now I'm taking the open end of my scissor blades. I'm scraping along all the edges of all my papers here today, so that adds nice great texture all the way around, kind of gives it that nice farmhouse rustic feel. This brown piece just goes on the back. I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today. The back of this kind of acrylic plastic frame had a piece that pulled out, a cardboard piece, so I'm just covering that is all, and then I'm snapping that right back in. That way it matches the rest of the piece. Going to go ahead and add some glue onto the front of this piece of paper here. Love this cute fall paper from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to press it right over those little areas where the screws go, and then, you know, flatten it all down. So it's all ready. I'm going to add the acrylic piece back on. I'm going to replace the screws. Such cute fall paper. And I got it where it was 4 for $1 on sale at Hobby Lobby. So I got quite a few pieces of these papers. Now we're going to go ahead and glue this cardstock onto the heart here. This is a vinyl quote I already have cut out from my Cricut Explorer Air machine. If you don't have an electronic cutting machine, I do have these free pumpkin printables on my blog. I'll make sure I link that down below for you to use, and you can resize them however you want. I'll also make sure if you do have a cutting machine, I at least give the list of fonts that I'm using on my different vinyl quotes today. Just peel that off. So super cute. I'm going to bring out some Dollar Tree twine here, and I'm going to thread these wood beads onto the twine. I only threaded 3 because that's how many I painted, but I think hindsight it would have looked cute with like 4 or 5 beads. So I'm just putting that twine through the back of the heart, through the hole of the heart onto the back, and then just gluing that all down so it stays nice and put here. And then I'll glue this onto the front of that acrylic part of that sign. And this is a wood sticker from Dollar Tree. They came out with wood pumpkins and wood leaves last year. I am like, don't hardly have any left. I'm kind of mad they didn't get them in this year, but I did find an alternative. Cut out some of that plaid paper on the front and added a cute little heart, and I gluing this twine, I cut it to the right mount to glue the twine onto the back a little pumpkin, and I'm adding a cute tiny clothespin from Dollar Tree just for a little decor, and then gluing all that right to the front of the pumpkin. Later on, I don't show you, but I do go ahead and glue those beads in place as well. Added some sisal at the top, and I have a couple of different twine pieces here from Dollar Tree, a couple of twine bows I'm adding to the front, and this project is complete. Let's go ahead and get back to this ceramic sign here. I'm putting on my first piece of cardstock and adding the cute plaid paper on top, and then the cardstock to the front of the pumpkin. Here comes another vinyl quote from my Cricut machine. Again, I have those free printables you can download and resize however you want. Just going ahead and putting these this quote on here. Cute autumn wishes. I love both of these projects because they're fairly easy, don't hardly take any time, super cute, would look great on a tiered tray. I've got this covered craft wire I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of leave a little bit hanging off there, and then wrap it around the stem of the pumpkin, and then leave a little bit hanging off once again on the other side. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush and just kind of wrap it around to add some little curly cues to the wire. And you could use regular wire from Dollar Tree if you want. I've got a little sisal here I'm going to add on top right there. A little bit of brown twine you can get on the roll at Dollar Tree. Here's my take on the pumpkins and leaves. I had to find them at Hobby Lobby. Of course, a little bit higher price, but I at least did get them at 40% off. Adding another clothespin here. These are a cute little chipboard leaves and acorns. I get them at Renee Bouquets. I'll make sure I add that link down below for you. Adding a little button, and I add a little bit of twine through the holes. And now, since I add that covered wire on the pumpkin, I'm adding a little cardboard underneath here to raise that pumpkin up so it lays level in front of the sign. And this project is complete. Let's move on to project number 3. We're going to be making some acorns. I've got these leftover Easter eggs. You want to make sure you have eggs that are nice and smooth, and I found these great big paper mache eggs at Hobby Lobby last week on clearance for 74 cents each. So I picked up all they had, which was 6 of them. And I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color chocolate here. I'll be painting all my eggs. I make quite a few of them because we're going to use them later on in a project. And then I painted the big one off camera as well. Now we're going to add our twine on here. So I'm using my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue here. It's just in a fine tip bottle. You go using on the wide end of your egg, not the narrow end. You add a little bit of glue there and you start wrapping your twine. Now you can see here I start my end kind of up at an angle, so that as I'm wrapping here my twine around, it'll cover that end up. And I'm going to wrap it around about 6 times here, and I'm going to come back with some glue, and I'm going to add glue right over the twine where I just wrapped. And then I'm going to take that twine and go right back over the same spot again. And I'm just going to wrap it as much as I want to add a little bit more thickness here and depth to make it look a little bit more acorn-like. Once you get to this point, you just keep adding glue and wrapping just single layer all the way around to the top of your egg. Again, you're doing this at the wide part of the egg, not the narrow part. Just keep adding your glue, wrapping around. And then once you get to the very end, you got a tiny little spot left. This is what I like to do. I'll cut off the twine a little bit longer, add some glue, press it in, cut off the excess, and I'll add a little dollop of glue right on top and press it down to make sure that end does not come up. And here's all the different eggs I've done, plus my large one here. We're going to decorate this large one because I thought this would look super cute on a tiered tray. Adding a little bit of sisal here. I've got this lacy tablecloth I bought at a garage sale years ago. I like to tear up and use this texture when I'm doing fall projects like this. If you see my last video, you know what's coming up. I've got this wire ribbon I got at Hobby Lobby, so I cut a nice little thin strip of that off. Some twine from Dollar Tree. And I've got some pip berries here I got at Hobby Lobby, but a lot of Dollar Trees carrying the orange pip berries. These are wood leaves I found at Joann's. They were on sale. And then I've got a clothespin from Dollar Tree as well, and some lace. And then this is just a cute little ephemera tag piece. This is wire, grapevine wire I got from Hobby Lobby. It wasn't on sale, but it was only $3.99. So add that Dollar Tree lace, that wire ribbon, a little bit of pipberry here. Coming in with both my twine here. Adding the wood leaf. Gonna tuck that in right underneath. Adding that grapevine wire. Love this. You'll see that come up on a few more projects. Adding another twine bow here. Adding the clothespin right onto this cute little fall tag. You can get fall ephemera and tags like this in the scrapbook section. And then now here comes another quote I did off of my Cricut Explorer Air machine. And we're going to put this right on our little acorn here. When you're rubbing on a rounded surface and you're doing things like this, it's easiest to kind of press down in the middle and then press outwards to get your quote on there nicely. And then you just kind of course, rub it on and then peel off. And if you don't have a cutting machine, you could use one of those tags and you can kind of hang it down underneath your leaf. Would look really cute. One of those printable tags I have on my blog for you. And here's the final result. Let's move on to our last project, number 4. So for this project, you're going to need 3 of these long canvas covered home decor pieces. I'm removing the canvas and staples off all 3 of them, so what we're left with is just the wood. You're also going to need some of these arrows. Make sure you take the rope off of them. And then what I'm going to do is just cut the ends off the arrows so they kind of look like fence posts, but you of course could skip this step. Now I've got a spindle, a lot of them in my supply I pick up from Habitat for Humanity, but if you don't have those, one of these plungers would work great. You're going to need to cut off one end if you're using the plunger. If it was me, I would leave the screw part on just for texture. And then I have the sign I bought from Walmart. I'm going to cut it apart and use one of them on the project today. So I'm just kind of putting this together so I can see how far apart my arrows are, so I know which is 12¼ inches is what I needed to cut it, how far, if you're going to use a plunger, how much to cut off one end, or where I needed to cut my spindle at. And now I'm using a miter box and saw, and I'm cutting off the ends of these arrows here, and I cut my spindle off camera as well. And then I'm just sanding where I cut that off to make it all nice and smooth. And now we're going to assemble the box part here. Using some wood glue, we're just going to glue each of these pieces one on top of the other. And then once it's all glued, I'm going to go ahead and clamp it together for about a half an hour. But if you don't have any clamps, just set something heavy on top of it. And now we need to cover the bottom. You could use this sign, which fit perfectly from Dollar Tree, or this is a old Valentine's sign from Dollar Tree. Would you have to cut that down? But I've got some paint sticks and they're going to work just perfect here. Already cut, of course. I'm going to wood glue on each end, and then I'm going to go ahead and also nail them in on each end as well. Once that's done, I'm just marking my arrows here so I know how far up to put my wood glue. And then I'm going to just center that on each side of our box here. And I will clamp it together again for about a half an hour. And then I do go in and nail it in as well. There's my nails in. And I already also added some little decorative nails. I have these tiny little nails. I added little decorative nails on the bottom part of the box just to give it a little something. So now if you're using the plunger or of course the spindle, I'm wood gluing it in. You can see my really big clamp at the bottom, and I'll clamp that for about a half an hour. And then I nail it in as well. And here is our planter box, so totally cute. I'm going to go ahead and paint it 2 coats with this Debbie's Design Diary DIY chalk paint in White Swan. I love this box. It's so adorable. Sanding it just to give it a little bit of farmhouse rustic texture. Then we'll go ahead and take the paint tape off of our spindle. And here's our box already done. Now we're going to go in and decorate it all nice and fall-like. So I've got some pumpkins and stuff I picked up at Dollar Tree, and then the one on that little stick I picked up at a garage sale for $1, taking the tops off. And I've got these dog nail clippers. I saw this on a video. Thank you to whoever suggested it. Cuts wooden dowels perfectly, just pops it right off. So I'm using this, so that's a little hint for you. Using this chalk paint again on all my pumpkins. I only end up using 3 of the pumpkins, but I do 2 coats. Going to put some styrofoam in our box, and here's part of that Walmart sign I'm nailing on here, and here's the flowers I'm using from Dollar Tree, the Gerber daisies, the mini mums, maple bouquet. These are some flowers I picked up at Hobby Lobby. They were on sale. And this is some ribbon from Dollar Tree, the orangey looking ribbon. And then this is some ribbon from Joann's, or no, Hobby Lobby again, I love. And this is some wired rope. I know Dollar Tree has wired rope now. And a little bit of lamb's ear. These are some of those twine balls you can get from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use those in as well. I've changed my camera view here for you so you can see how we're going to decorate this all up. Now, I am not a decorator at all. I mean, I can't do arrangements at all, but I think this turned out okay. And this planter box, I got the idea from a friend. She made these for a fall show last year, and I actually bought one, and I love it. So I'm like, how can I make that out of Dollar Tree supplies? So this is how I came up with it, what I could use, because she used regular plywood and put it all together. But I think this box turned out really cute for using Dollar Tree supplies. So we're still just decorating up here. Adding in all the colors. You could of course use any colors and flowers and anything that you like to put in here. I'm going with the oranges and stuff because of the little pumpkin sign on the front. Now I was going to use this pumpkin sign. I was going to sand it and then repaint it, add my own vinyl quote to it, but I liked it just like it was, so that's what I did. So we add our acorns in here, our little pumpkins, adding little wood slices from Hobby Lobby. This is a little scrapbook quote we're going to tuck right in here. Skipping ahead really fast. I was talking, forgot where we were. So now I'm just doing my ribbon here. So this is how I do my ribbon. I loop it back and forth. I've got 3 loops on each side. I'm going to make a little slit on one side and a tiny little slit on the other side. I'm going to add some wire through and around the slits, and then I'm just going to twist it on the back. And this way, now you can take your loops and you can twist them and move them around because you added a little slit in each end. And then what I'm going to do is take this ribbon and I'm going to wire it to the orangey ribbon. So that's all nice and together. Do it how I want it to go. Here I come adding the piece of wire right here, putting it together, twisting it in the back. Love all the little pumpkins and the acorns we made earlier. Remember, that was our project. Added those in there. So here's just some more ribbon and the wire rope that I added onto the back and some pit berries, and then I added a big piece of wire in there so that I could tuck that right down into the styrofoam right in the corner. Now I'm just rearranging my acorns and pumpkins and little wood slices, and this is our final project. I love, love, love how it turned out. I think it's super adorable. I added a little wooden acorn on the front of my bow ensemble. You'll see that here in just a minute. I got a bag of these natural unfinished wood acorns at Hobby Lobby. There it is, so stinking cute. Please leave a comment down below and let me know how you liked all the projects we did today. Give this video a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos from me. Let me know in the comments down below which project is your favorite today. which project you cannot wait to start right now. I want to make this one again. I love it. I think I'm going to make a couple more for next year's craft bazaar. I think they are super cute, but I loved everything that I made today. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.